Good evening, everybody. Welcome to CW Live. Welcome however you're watching, listening to us, whether it's on our social media channels, whether it's via podcast or all of the other mediums we're going to be putting this communication out. Tonight is a really special session. It's about the Grow the Union campaign, the month of March that the union is designated to get out there in our core industries across the areas where we've currently got members to really increase density and get every single non-member we possibly can into this union. So never been a more crucial time. We've got job security issues at stake. We've got pay rounds which are imminent, and employers need to know that you're with this union and you stand with what the union's messaging is. I'm delighted tonight to be joined by both our General Secretary, Dave Ward, and our Head of Recruitment and Organising, Raelis. Evening, guys. So what we're going to do tonight is really your session. So this month, up and down the country in every region of the union, people are going to be out and about campaigning and putting membership forms in front of non-members and asking you to join the union. We're going to give you a job as our members to say that the best possible people, as much as we love Dave and Ray, to recruit people into this union are you as CW members. You're the best advocates we could possibly have to this union. So we're going to be taking your questions, your ideas, your thoughts on how we can grow this union. But before we do that, I'm going to give both Dave and Ray the chance to say a few words to open the session up. So first, Dave, if I can come to you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening. It's a really difficult time at the moment. We understand that. There's always pressures at work. There's lots of stuff that our industrial executives are dealing with at the moment, not least your pay, and that's on our agenda firmly. We also know that we're still trying to overcome, the outcomes of the pandemic. That's not easy. You've all been working throughout, pretty much everybody as key workers, and you deserve a proper pay rise, and you deserve, the support and recognition that all of your efforts have brought to these companies. That deserves to be replicated in terms of what the companies are offering you on pay, out there seeing your job security, all those things. And of course, there are other difficulties at the moment that we're all seeing with the appalling situation in the Ukraine. But tonight we want to talk to you about our Grow campaign. It's a policy of the union that was agreed unanimously at a recent conference that we need to use the month of March to get back out and back to recruiting and organising our workplaces properly. This is against a background that for the last couple of years it's been difficult to do that during the pandemic. Obviously, we've been focusing on lots of different things. So we think the time is right. You'll know that there are also other unions at the moment that are all facing the same difficulties with pay. So I think there's going to be a lot of focus on pay in the coming weeks. You'll understand that from the cost of living crisis that we're all seeing. And as Chris said, what we want to talk to you about is how we're going to run this campaign, and more importantly, what your role is in it and how you can help us. And we're happy to take any questions. We're going to be doing loads of events, myself, other leaders of the union, Ray, all of us. We're going to be out and about. I'm going to numerous places, Wales, the Northeast, the Northwest, the Southwest. We're going to be visiting workplaces, and we're going to try and drum up serious support for a recruitment campaign. Why is that important? Well, look, you guys know that people who don't join the union, they get the benefits of union membership. They get the pay rises. They get all of those other things. And we've got to go to those people and explain that our strength comes from more and more people joining the trade union. Doesn't matter what company you're in, we can absolutely demonstrate that if you're in a trade union, you're going to get better pay, you're going to get better terms and conditions overall. May not get everything right. Some of you may have a view on that from time to time. We know that. But let's be honest here, when it comes to getting the best possible deals, all of the evidence demonstrates that trade union membership and collective bargaining and building the collective spirit amongst all of our membership is what delivers for working people. So, the campaign's up and running. It starts today. All your branches are going to be involved in it, our regions, the national officials. What you can do for us is actually have those conversations with colleagues that at work may not be in the union. That's something that you can talk to them directly about in the right way, in a respectful way, of course. And I'm sure that you're going to be with us. And we're really, interested in your views, your ideas tonight. So thanks for joining us. Let's make this a successful month where we grow the CWU.
Thank you, Dave. Just before Ray opens up, just to say thank you for all your comments so far. Brilliant. We've got a couple of questions which I've made a note of, and we'll make sure that they're answered. You can help us by tagging your colleagues, sharing this post, and getting it out as far and wide as we possibly can. Because just to remind us what Dave says, this is your union, and you are the biggest potential influencers on growing it. Over to you, Ray.
Well, I haven't got very much more to add to what Dave has already said. The campaign starts today. The reason for the campaign is that during the period of the pandemic, we weren't able to contact new people coming into the companies where we have recognition face to face in the same way that we were able to before that. And as a result of that, we've recruited most of the new starters, but we've not recruited them all. So as a union, we looked at what we needed to do to maintain our density of membership in the workplace, because it's that density of membership that makes us strong and enables us to effectively represent people. And the Grow campaign is the result of that. And what we're encouraging people to do and to understand is that it's the role of every union rep, whatever their job is in the union, whatever their status in the union. It's the job of every union rep to go and explain the benefits of union membership to non-members and to sign them up and bring them into the union. And we want our members to do that as well, because our members are our best spokespeople. You understand the value of union membership in the workplace. You understand the protection that it gives. There's no question that the higher the density that we have of membership in a workplace, the stronger we are, the better we are able to represent people. And this campaign is all about maximising that to the mutual benefit of all our members.
Thanks, Ray. Fantastic. So the other thing I should have said really is let us know where you're watching from. We'll put the best of those messages up on screen if we get a moment to do so. Dave, one of the things that we've traditionally done on these live sessions is to ensure that we tackle the difficult issues as early as we possibly can in this session. I think obviously we've got some messages we're going to get across, but just to give you a flavour, lots of support by the way, lots of ideas, lots of requests. So I'm going to go through them with you and Ray as the session unrails. But we have got a couple of people. I want to give you examples of. I think Craig says, "Never mind, grow the union, grow some backbone." We balloted. Where was the ballot in BT last year? The Camp Me In campaign. Union's gone soft, and there's a couple of Royal Mail members who are saying, like, "Get this," but I'm under so much pressure at work, I can't even think about this. So, what would you say to those 2 points?
Well, first of all, Craig, look, you're entitled to your view. The union did a deal, if you like, a framework agreement at the end of that campaign that did move a number of issues forward. There was certainly some good news just before Christmas as a result of the discussions that flowed from that campaign, where the personal travel time is now incorporated into people's working day for the engineers, BT engineers. But we know there's work to do. So I would agree with you, Craig. But the way to tackle those things is to get behind the union, get behind supporting our ability to grow union membership, and we become stronger. Now, on pay, I've actually had a conversation just before this meeting with Andy Kurt, who leads up the negotiations. And, we're very clear. There'll be a forum in a couple of weeks with our branches, and we'll have to go to a ballot. I mean, look, I hope you understand this, Craig, and any others. We're not afraid to ballot for strike action. Definitely not. Our record on that and my own personal commitment to that has always been there. That's not the issue. The issue is where does it fit within any particular set of discussions? And I think that the expectations, rightly, with a cost of living crisis at the moment, we've got no choice but to front up the employer on pay. Andy is holding a session with the branches. I'll probably attend that session myself. And hopefully we either have an offer that we can recommend to our members, or we'll be in a position where we're going to have to go out and ask our members to back us in a strike ballot. So let's see how that goes. Never lose faith, though, Craig, with the union. The record shows that we have delivered over many, many years higher pay. And for people who are not in a union, I think they know that more. On Royal Mail, yes, definitely. lots of pressure at the moment. Again, I was speaking to Terry Pullinger the other week. There's going to be a postal policy forum, which I'll be attending as well. And there'll be policies that are put forward there to deal with pay. We're confident that we can get decent deals from the company, but also those policy forums are going to be used to tackle some of the issues that you're referring to. So some of the pressure that's on members at the moment, particularly from revision activity, will be addressed. And look, it's the same message. The answer to that is never to lose faith in the union. The answer is to grow the union even stronger. And by all means, I'd also say to people who have a strong view on this, then become a union rep. We always I like union reps who are up for the fight, who are also sensible in how you go about dealing with that. And, you can always get amongst the union and put your views forward as a rep as well. So, support our reps, support the union, grow the union, and we deliver for you as a result of all of that.
Thank you, Dave. Right, we've got loads of questions for you both. Want to put two to you if I can. Both either end of the spectrum, we've got people saying, how are we going to engage young workers through this campaign and show them that trade unions are for them? And then we've also got members saying, do we plan to target our sort of much loved retired members in any way, shape or form during this month of action?
Okay, thanks, Chris. I mean, in terms of young workers, I think the arguments are the same as they'd be for anyone else. It's about the job that we do in the workplace, representing our members and protecting our members if they run into problems of whatever nature. So we negotiate the agreements which deal with the personnel procedures. The union is part of the process of developing procedures which are fair procedures. We represent people through procedures, whether the individual's got a grievance or whether management have got an issue with the individual. We represent people through that process, and we've got a good record as a union in delivering for our members. In terms of the bargaining issues around pay and working conditions generally, it's the union that negotiates on pay. It's the union that negotiates on attendance patterns. It's the union ultimately that will deal with issues of revisions that we're facing in Royal Mail, and we need to be as strong as possible. That affects young workers in the same way as it affects older people in the workplace as well. There's probably particular issues for young people, given the particular challenge of the cost of living crisis at the moment, the cost of accommodation, the difficulty that young people are going to have, the denial of the opportunities that perhaps people of my generation and Dave's generation had when we were going into the workplace. But essentially the answer is the same. It's collective organisation that gives us strength, and through our collective strength we can defend our conditions and improve our conditions in the workplace and beyond. In terms of retired members, the GROW campaign is specifically aimed at people currently at work in the recognised sector. And that doesn't mean that we're not interested in growing the retired membership section. I've been in discussion, been at a meeting of the retired members committee, discussed with them initiatives that we might take to encourage people that are leaving the workplace, whether it's on retirement or whether it's to go to part-time work elsewhere, to retain their CW membership. We want to keep everybody in CW membership. And portability of membership and retired membership are important ways of doing that. And we do intend to promote those forms of membership as well as growing the union amongst new people coming into the workplace.
Thanks, Ray. Dave, both of you have got lots of questions to try and get through them as quickly as possibly can. Obviously, bearing in mind people want as much detail as well. So we've got a question here which says, what's the CW seen to focus predominantly on recruitment within BT and EE in the telecoms sector? There's also a need for other companies, especially within Telefonica, now more than ever due to the merger with Virgin Media. I know, Dave, you're going to actually a number of sites. Yeah. We've got Santander, we're going Telefonica, we're going Virgin Media, O2. I mean, that's clearly on your radar. How important is it for the union?
Well, it's crucial. Look, the union can sometimes sound like it's about just the biggest companies. That's just the nature of the amount of members, I suppose. But we're fully aware that we want to get out and recruit people in all of the companies where we're currently organised. The month of March is about all organised companies where we've got a presence. So we're looking to build membership in every single company. and we'll be paying all of those companies visits and various officials and the reps on the ground, and we'll be doing more of these type of sessions to make sure that the message comes across. We've also got a strategy for trying to deal with the wider sector that we operate in, where there's a lot of gig economy workers, there's lots of different workers in companies who are not represented by trade unions. But that's for later on. This is definitely a month that's focused on every single company where the CW already has membership and a presence to grow those members. So everyone's in scope. It's all in the plan, and all of our officials, all sections, as Ray said, our young workers, our retired members can help in this campaign. It's everybody's responsibility, including the members on the workplace, to make the union stronger by growing membership.
Thanks, Dave. Ray, we've got different reasons why people aren't members of the union. We've got people who, for whatever reason, fundamentally against unions, unimaginable reasons, really, when you think about what the union's done over the years. We've got people who are new, and as you said, we haven't captured because of genuine reasons around COVID. But we've also got people who, at some point have been members of the union, and for whatever reason, sometimes it's, a local office reason, sometimes it's an agreement the union's made they don't agree with, who have withdrawn from the union. How are we going to win those people back over, not just in March, but beyond that as well, and across all companies?
Okay, well, I mean, to go through those categories, really, in terms of new people, what we need to do is go and talk to them. And we need to explain what the union does, and we need to explain how the union benefits people in the workplace. And I'm confident if we do that, because all the history tells us if we do that, then people will be happy to join the union. People that have an in-principled objection to union membership, again, in my experience, there's not that many people that do. Perhaps certain religious groups, people who may have a particularly hardline political view, I suppose. But again, in my experience, when people see the job that the union does in the workplace, in looking after people if they've got personal cases, in dealing with issues around attendance patterns, dealing with staffing issues and so on, when they look at what the union does at the national level in terms of negotiating on pay, ensuring that people aren't made compulsory redundant and issues of that kind, then people will understand the value of union membership. Where people are disillusioned, what we have to do as a union is demonstrate to them that we're listening to them and that we're capable of responding to their legitimate concerns. You'll inevitably get people that at some point in the past may have felt they've had a bad experience. What we have to demonstrate is that we're there for them. We welcome them to rejoin the union, and we're in a position as a union to effectively represent them in the workplace today.
Thank you, Ray. Steve Reed's just commented saying he's got 2 offices in the Birmingham area, 100% membership. So the challenges you've got many more.
That's the benchmark.
Yeah.
There you go. For you, Steve, as well, for the rest of the offices. Dave, Stephen Watkins made a really good point here, actually, and it's been made by a few of our local reps who are on, and I know how much you personally support them. Steve said we need more support at grassroots level as union reps. The pressure on us has been absolutely immense in the last few years. We try to get others to join. We always encourage that, but we need help. So a message to our local rep out there.
Yeah, and I think that goes to the members that are watching today. Too often, when I'm out visiting and you speak to people and you hear the story that Steve said, it is difficult being a union rep, particularly if you're right in the local office. But one of the ways you get help is by building the organisation of the workplace. That's always been one of the things that we believe in. The rep and the structure and the strength of the office is not one person, whoever that rep is. That person needs support. That person needs a committee of people who are around them. Sometimes it just needs the odd chat with a few people who understand that the rep has a difficult job, and that those people in turn talk to other members. But it is about ultimately organising. And the only way you can build these things properly is by growing the membership in that office, by building people together, building the collective spirit of an office. And, the National Union are looking at various different ways, Steve, that we can help support local reps. We've started that work on a package of support for local reps. The pandemic unfortunately interrupted some of that, and we got to get back to doing that. But my strong message is that the best way to get behind your local rep is to join the union, is to form a committee, to have a workplace committee that supports that rep in everything they do. So we thank our reps for what they do. They're volunteers at the end of the day. We should always remember that. But they are the bedrock of the trade union, and the members around them in the workplace, we're only as strong as those members, is the truth.
Thanks, Dave. Follow on for that one, Ray. May is one of our members is saying, are we going to give out some key points to talk about, as not everyone is confident enough to sell to people? So one of our members really wanted to get behind the campaign there, but asking, is the union going to make resources available, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, both during the campaign and beyond it, because obviously this is a focused month of recruitment, but recruitment is a 365-day-a-year activity. So, yeah, I mean, we will be, we've made a one-stop shop available in terms of materials, such as leaflets and so on, for the campaign. And that will be picking up some of the key points, some of the key advantages of union membership. Our education training department are also arranging courses for reps, one-day courses for reps, in terms of the sort of arguments that you need to put to people if you're talking to them about joining the union. So that's an ongoing process. We'll be doing that as part of the activity this month in Grow, and we'll be doing that as I say, on an ongoing basis going forward. We want all of our reps to feel confident about being able to articulate the benefits of membership, and we're doing all we can to.
Something I picked up last week from one of our reps, interestingly enough. I was up in Manchester and I was talking to a few of our reps up there, and they were saying that one of them, particularly Kieran, if he's out there, he said to me one of the techniques that he uses is when he talks to people about joining the union. He says very simply, you insure your house, you insure your car, you need to insure your job. And I thought that was a very simple and effective message, along with the others that we're talking about, that can get across to people. Some people are not fully aware of what a trade union does. And I think people who are in our industries understand that we've had a long legacy of being well organised. What we're looking for now is to bring all of that experience together, all of the members, let's get together to grow the union, and in turn we build our strengths, we build collectivism, and you get better representation. So win-win all round.
Thanks, Dave. Some great comments that I want to touch on, because people have taken the time to share them with us. So Matt Somerville says, within the climate we're in today, it's more important than ever for our future to be in the union. Spot on, Matt. Neil Lee, who's one of our reps, says, not only I've only had a few not join at first. I normally take them to the union board and explain why being in the union is a good thing with all the benefits and support. So good example of the resources that Ray mentioned there. Kevin says, a recent serious illness, health issues underlined to me just how important the strength of the union is. I can look after myself in terms of facing management, but there are times when any of us can find ourselves in a vulnerable position. Having union support at such times is immeasurable and priceless. And Lorraine says, our rep in Donny is brilliant. So shout out to our rep in Donny there. Dave, Paul Taylor says that, and I know that obviously this session isn't about finance, but Paul's raised a good point. He says, obviously finance of the union will always be a worry if we have lower in membership. What is the current trend on general union members across the TUC, and will the CWs be able to continue to be a standalone union? Would really hate to be part of another union. It's from Paul Taylor.
Okay, well, Paul, I mean, our strategy is to ensure that the CW remains an independent standalone union. It's a conversation that I have with other trade union leaders. I would say the CW is leading this debate, and in the past, there's been mergers of unions for financial reasons. I think that's wrong. That doesn't mean to say that you'd never merge, but I don't see us merging at the moment with any other union. So let me be absolutely clear. We have a future. We have a future financially as well, and growing membership supports that future for us. I would say that, since I've been General Secretary, I think we took a decision, I know, not to increase subs every year. And I think in the 6 or 7 years I've been General Secretary, I think we've only done it about 3 times, twice possibly, in that period. And that's about making sure that we offer the best possible support and representation for our members without, if we can, continually asking them to pay more. But I mean, realistically, it is a good deal. Union membership is a good deal. I mean, I was saying to the guys earlier on, at the end of the day, around £15 now, I know there are different layers to that, a month. I mean, that is, no more than a pint of beer, no more than an expensive cup of coffee a week. Compare that to the overall part of being in a union that has that collective strength. There's no other organisation in the UK today that can offer that collective strength. And I think what's really important as part of this is that we build union membership across the UK. How you do that, we're talking to other trade unions about it. I think membership density in the public sector is fine, in answer to Paul's question. But in the private sector, where there's more and more companies, the gig economy, more challenges, unions got to think differently. But I'm absolutely clear on this. We are committed to remaining an independent, standalone union, playing a full part in the wider trade union movement. And I think we're going to turn this situation around, not just in the CWU, but across the whole movement in the coming years.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks. One of the things that I think, obviously I normally show you guys after the session, but is really exciting about this session for me in terms of seeing it all play out is we have loads of questions and loads of ideas from people. So that's really good. What I'm going to do now is try and put a couple of questions at a time at you both and test you out a little bit more. Ray, if you could, I'm going to come to you on the tour that's happening around the UK. If you could explain to members a little bit more about, what we're up to in this month to raise the profile of the campaign. And I want to come back, if I can, on the young workers issue, because several people have said, really, really keen. It's got a lot younger membership now in delivery offices and in call centres. Really, can we have some support in our comms and our resources during this month and beyond to attract them? Obviously, Ray.
Okay. So, I mean, thanks, Chris. In terms of the tour, what we've encouraged branches to consider is having special events. And if they want guest speakers, we've said that senior officials of the union will be available to go out and meet members during the month around the Grow campaign. And we've got events literally from Thurso down to Cornwall, diaried in over the next month, during the course of the campaign. And I know Chris will be ensuring that they get plenty of publicity. People know what's going on. People have an opportunity to be present at those events, and we'll be sharing experiences around the country. In terms of young workers, I mean, if one of the issues I suppose that we have to face is that the role of unions in public life, it's one of the earlier questions touched on this, has diminished over the years for a number of reasons. Deindustrialisation. The attitude of the media towards unions. Unions are not as much of a presence in everyday life in many sectors of the economy as they used to be. So sometimes you have to explain the very basics of what a union is and what it does to people. I don't think that's just young workers. Sometimes some older workers, you need to do that as well. In my experience, though, if you can do that, if you can point to the benefits in an organised workplace that come from union membership, then it's a comparatively easy argument to make to anyone. And the best way of doing that is by talking about your own experiences and the experiences of your colleagues, where the union has been able to be effective and intervene to improve people's situation in the workplace. But if people are facing particular issues or particular arguments that they feel they need some support in overcoming, let us know what they are, and we'll tailor the stuff that we're putting out during the course of the campaign to respond to that. I think it's probably the best thing that I can say, Chris.
Well, thank you, Ray. Dave, a couple for you. Want to come back on your point about the union being your job insurance. Angela Teeling says we're not just an insurance policy. We do a lot more, i.e. the rally in Blackpool. I'm sure that's not what you meant anyway, but obviously we do a lot more than rallying as well. I should maybe still come back on that one in terms of just what the union does deliver to members. And DJ says, do you think we're losing, and he's made this point a few times, that's why I'm asking, do you think we're losing members due to the blind faith the union has in a Labour Party that hasn't represented working class for decades?
Right. So, Angela, I think you know that I didn't mean that we're just an insurance policy. I've actually thought that what the guy was saying to me resonates with people, and I'm sure you can build on that. I mean, our record shows that we fight for pay, terms, conditions. So, you know, don't sort of suggest that that's what I meant in that way. I think you could see that as a positive as well. And I think it can work along with all the other things we do. So we'll make those points, won't we? That's what we do. DJ, you know, I mean, look, that's a debate about working class representation in a wider way. We're not going to solve that as part of this Grow campaign over the next month. But as you know, I think we've spoken before on this, DJ. Yeah, I mean, I have some sympathy for the point that you make. And the CWU has launched its Building Collectivism strategy, which is about linking trade unions into communities, is about being stronger in the workplace, is about unions per se, campaigning collectively and taking collective forms of action where the subject matter warrants it. And that's part of the New Deal for Workers campaign. So, you know, our focus, my focus and the leadership's focus is not on the Labour Party. We affiliate to the Labour Party. We had that debate at our conference. Our focus is on trade unions leading the way in workplaces today across society. And that's what we've got to do. And I think that the more that we can get to working people, the representation of working people will become stronger by trade unions making those links. And we'll get there, frankly, before the Labour Party does.
Thank you, Dave. Ray, I'm going to, if I can now, because obviously what we're going to do, we'll take the comm stuff away and we'll look at it and we'll obviously discuss with yourself and Dave in the coming weeks to build the campaign. I'll just give you the opportunity to get any final points across to members on the campaign, anything you really think we should be pushing on, anything branches should be pushing on. We've got loads of ideas, people saying they're offering refer a friend schemes. John Woodhouse just come on and said there's hundreds of us on this call. If we all recruited one person, that's hundreds more union members tomorrow. That sort of stuff is all brilliant, and we'll collect it all. But what would your sort of final message be?
So, I mean, the final message is that the key thing in recruiting people is face-to-face contact. If there was any doubt about that, what we've seen because of the COVID situation demonstrates that absolutely clearly. Pre-COVID, when we saw people on induction courses, we were recruiting there and then 80 to 90% of the people, and we'd pick up more people when they went into the workplace. Now, when we don't have that face-to-face contact, even though people see videos about union membership, and we know that people are not hostile to the idea of union membership, they understand the value, which is why 80 to 90% of them would have signed up in induction courses previously when they had face-to-face contact. Because they don't have that face-to-face contact, we're faced with a problem of inertia. So what is important is going out and seeing people. What is important is speaking to people and explaining what the union does in your workplace. And that's a role for every rep, every unit rep, every area rep, every tier of the union. When you see a new face in the workplace, it's important to go out and introduce yourself to them, explain what you do, explain that, you know, most of the other people in the workplace are going to be union members and why those people are union members and what the union has been able to achieve for them. I can't emphasize enough, the key to recruitment is individual contact, talking to people face to face and explaining what we do. And if we do that, then 90% of those people, possibly more than 90% of people, as Steve Reed has indicated, are going to be quite happy to join because they'll understand the value and they'll understand that this is something which protects them in the workplace and looks after their interests.
Thank you, Ray. Dave, your final words on the session. When you do deliver your final words, I want to come back to you on something unrelated. So finish on your message to members.
So look, I mean, Ray summed that up very well. It's a campaign for this particular month where we're trying to pick up ground that was unfortunately lost during the course of the pandemic through nobody's fault. But we're also trying to do it to build our membership ready for the pay negotiations that are going around at the moment. You know, we want to deliver for you on pay for all our members. We want to build our strength. It's as simple as that. We want to build collectivism. And what I would emphasize is that everybody has a role in it. Everybody has a positive role to play in it. Because when you weigh it all up, all of the evidence that you can put forward to demonstrate how much more a worker gets by being a member of a trade union. And I would include in that, for our members who are already members tonight who are watching this, you will know the odd person who's not a member, and they get all of the pay rises, all of the protections that we fight for on your behalf, and they're not members. And I think there is a peer-to-peer debate that can put that over in a reasonable way. I emphasize reasonable. We don't want people pressurizing people, but we can have those conversations. And I think it's about your role and all our role in making this campaign successful. So that's my message. Let's be positive. Let's get out there. Let's grow the union. Let's build our strength. Let's build collectivism.
Thanks, Dave. So to wrap up this element of the session, thanks to Ray. Thanks for your time, mate. Thanks to you, Dave. As always, most importantly, as always, thanks to you as members who have tuned in. Dave, I wondered if you, just for a moment or so, wanted to send a message of solidarity to the people of Ukraine as we were on live here. Yeah. 5 missiles have landed in Kyiv and more innocent people have died. And I wonder if you wanted to say something on that.
Well, that's tragic news that it's escalated to that level. Yeah, I mean, look, we put a statement out last week where we made it absolutely clear that we stand with the people of the Ukraine. What's happened is just completely unacceptable to democracy, to the sovereignty of that country, and to decent people anywhere. You know, you can't allow Putin to get away with what he's doing. We have to come together. We have to make sacrifices in order to show our support for those people. And I've sensed that there's a pride in that amongst working people, that they get that. I think it's also important to remember that we'll have members who are from the Ukraine. We'll have members who, right across the piece, have perhaps come from places of conflict. And it is important that trade unions have a strong voice in this debate. At the end of the day, the people who suffer from conflict are always the ordinary working people. And incidentally, that'll probably happen to people in Russia as well at some point. And we're here to stand up for all working people, for all decent people. Our values are not the values of people like Putin. So we offer our solidarity to the Ukraine, to all those people. And I'm sure that our members tonight would echo that. So thanks for raising that, Chris.
Thank you, Dave. Good night, everybody.
Good night.